So all of you welcome to the course Applied Thermodynamics lecture series 31. The topics covered in the previous class. We solved the problem by considering an actual expansion in a turbine. So in today's topic, we will solve the problem on a steam power cycle when efficiency of both turbine and pump are given. The problem description is steam at 20 bar and 360 degrees Celsius is expanded in a steam turbine to a pressure of 0.8 bar. It is then entering the condenser where it is condensed to a saturated liquid water. Assuming the turbine and pump efficiencies as 60% and 90% respectively, determine per kg of steam, the net work output, heat transfer to working fluid and Rankine efficiency of the cycle. So now we will draw the TS diagram of a Rankine cycle. Before drawing the TS diagram, we have to look into the position of the state 1, the steam entering into the turbine, whether it is superheated or dry saturated or wet. So using the table we can see that at 20 bar, at 20 bar pressure, the saturation temperature is 212.4 degrees Celsius. But in the problem given, the temperature given at 20 bar is 360 degrees Celsius. So it is above the saturation temperature. So now obviously the state 1 lies in a superheated region. So now draw the TS diagram. So now this is the state 1 locate with respect to 20 bar and 360 degrees Celsius. So that enters into the turbine and it is expanded from 1 to 2 in a turbine. The 1 to 2 line is a reversible adiabatic expansion or isentropic expansion or ideal expansion line. Then the efficiencies of the turbine and pump are given. Therefore, there is a actual expansion line you will get, that is 1 to 2 dash. So this is because the steam, due to the friction in a steam while it is flowing through a turbine, the entropy increases little bit at the end of the expansion, and also in a pump also due to the compression the entropy increases. So you will get the actual expansion line. Then after that, at a state 2 to 3, it is the condensation in a condenser by rejecting the heat in a condenser. It reaches the state 3 where it is completely converted into the fluid. Then the fluid 3 to 4, it is pumped back to the boiler pressure with the help of the pump. Then but the actual compression line is 3 to 4 dash because the pump efficiency is also given. So now the 4 dash to 1, again the water is supplied to the boiler, again heat is added in a boiler, then it is converted into the superheated steam. This cycle continues. So now to solve the problems, we have to calculate all the enthalpy values at H1, H2, H2 dash, H3, H4 and H4 dash. So now to calculate H1, so H1 is directly, it is in the superheated region. So we can see it directly from the superheated table. So H1 at 20 bar and 360 degrees Celsius from the superheated table. We'll go to the table and we'll check the values. So now this is the specific enthalpy of a superheated steam table. So now at a 20 bar, so here we have to look, we have to see the value of for 360 degrees Celsius, but here in the table only 350 and 400 degrees Celsius are there. So now we have to get the value of at 360 degrees Celsius by interpolation method. So now consider the values at 350 degrees Celsius, enthalpy value at 350 degrees Celsius, this one 3025 kilojoule per kg, sorry not this, this is 3138.6 kilojoule per kg, and for 400 it is 3248.7 kilojoule per kg. So now by interpolation method you can get the value at 360 degree. So now this is the interpolation method. where for 350 degrees Celsius, what is the enthalpy? You note down this. And for 400 degrees Celsius, what is the enthalpy value from the table, superheated table? You can note it down. And for 360 degrees Celsius, you can calculate this X, that is at 360, what is the enthalpy that we can calculate. So now the formula is like this, we can calculate like this: y minus y1, say this, y minus y1 divided by y2 minus y1, here you can see this, y minus y1 divided by y2 minus y1, similar to that x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1 we can calculate. So now we will get the unknown value, that is x, so that you will get the enthalpy value at 360 degrees Celsius, that is 3226.68 kilojoule per kg. So now H1 we have calculated. So now we have to calculate the H2. So now to calculate the H2, it is in the wet region. So because of that, H2 is equal to HF2 plus X2 dryness fraction into HFG2. So now here HF2 and HFG2 that we can get with respect to the steam table, and we need to calculate now first the entropy at the end of the expansion, that is X2. So now we can calculate X2 by equating the entropy S1 equal to S2. So you can see this, that this is S1 and this is S2. So now, which is ideal expansion line in a turbine, so that we can equate S1 equal to S2. So now we need the values of S1. So S1 can be easily taken from the table again. S1 at superheated state at 20 bar and 360 degrees Celsius from the table. So again we have to do the interpolation method, because from the superheated entropy table, so there is the only 350 degrees Celsius, what is the entropy? Note down the entropy value. And 400 degrees Celsius, what is the entropy value? Note down. So by interpolation method we can get for 360 degrees Celsius. So now by substituting the values here, so we can get X means it is a entropy at 360 degrees Celsius, that is 6.99 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So now at the 0.08 bar from the table, so now we'll go to the table, we can get this HF2, HFG2, SF2, SFG2 and specific volume of the fluid at 0.08 bar, because the state 2 is with respect to 0.08 bar. So now we'll go to the table and we will check the values. So now this is the saturated water and steam pressure table. Go to the pressure. So now the pressure is at 0.08 bar. So get the values of HF first. HF is here. It is 173.9. Then similar to that HFG 2403.2 kilojoule per kg. Then get the entropy value SF also, and this is SFG. So now these are the values that we have taken from the steam table. So now equate this, substitute in this equation, that is S2 equal to SF2 X2 SFG2. So now X2 is value is known 6.99, then SF2 SFG2. So we can calculate the X2 here 0.837, means 83.7% dry it is a dryness fraction. So now we can calculate the H2 value. Once we get the X2 dryness fraction X2, substitute the value of HF2 X2 and HFG2. So we will get the H2 enthalpy at state 2 2185.37 kilojoule per kg. So next one what we have to calculate is H2 dash. So now to get to calculate H2 dash, so there is a turbine efficiency is given. Using the turbine efficiency we can calculate the H2 dash enthalpy at state 2 dash. So now for the turbine, efficiency of the turbine is equal to actual work divided by theoretical work or ideal work. So now that is equal to efficiency of the turbine is 60%, 0.6. Then actual work is equal to mass into H1 minus H2 dash divided by theoretical work is mass into H1 minus H2 it is. So we you can cancel the mass, and the values of h1 is calculated already. Substitute the h1 value. h2 is calculated. Substitute. The only is unknown is h2 dash. So you will get that 2601.89 kilojoule per kg. So now the next enthalpy remaining is H3 now. So now H3 is directly, it is a dry saturated liquid line. So H3 equal to HF from the table directly you will get with respect to the pressure of 0.08 bar. So now H3 is equal to HF at 0.08 bar from the table, it is that already we have seen that 173.9 kilojoule per kg. So now we need to calculate the H4 enthalpy at state 4. To calculate that, we can write the work done by a pump is equal to mass into H4 minus H3. That is also is equal to mass into specific volume of the fluid at state 3 into the pressure difference P1 minus P2. So that's for work done by the pump is equal to, so now you substitute the mass considering per kg unit, then specific volume that we have noted down 0.001, then the pressure, the P1 boiler pressure is 20, convert that to kilonewton per meter square, then the condenser pressure is 0.08 into 10⁻², so that work done by the pump is equal to 2 kilowatt or 2 kilojoule per second it is. So now equate that. So now we have got the work done by the pump, that is equal to mass into H4 minus H3 it is. So we know the work done by the pump, so mass is known, so H3 is known, only the unknown is H4 now. So now H4 is equal to 175.9 kilojoule per kg, you will get this. So now we have to calculate the H4 dash now. So again the pump efficiency is given, then efficiency of the pump here it is equal to theoretical work divided by actual work, here it is. So now what is the theoretical work of the pump is mass into H4 minus H3, then actual work is equal to mass into H4 dash minus H3. So here we know the efficiency of the pump, then H4 is known, H3 is known, then H3 is known. So unknown is H4 dash, calculate the H4 dash. So H4 dash is equal to 176.12 kilojoule per kg it is. So now let us calculate one by one the answers. So now W net or a net work output is equal to work done by turbine minus work done by pump. Then what is the work done by turbine is equal to mass into H1 minus H2 dash by considering the actual expansion in a turbine. Then work done by the pump is equal to mass into H4 dash minus H3. Substitute the values here and get the answer, that is 622.69 kilojoule per kg it is. So now calculate the heat transfer to working fluid it is. So heat transfer to working fluid, that is Q, heat supplied is equal to mass into H1 minus H4 dash. So in a boiler you are supplying the heat, that is H1 minus H4 dash. So now mass is known, H1 is known, that you have calculated, substitute the H4 dash, so that heat supplied is 3050.56 kilojoule per kg it is. So now you can calculate the Rankine efficiency is equal to W net divided by heat supplied. So W net is calculated, heat supplied is also calculated. So now the efficiency is 0.204, that is 20.4%. So at the end of the class, what we have solved the problem on a steam power cycle where the both turbine and pump efficiencies are given in the problem. So then the expansion of the steam in a turbine and compression in a pump is not ideal. It is not ideal, it is an actual expansion. By considering the actual expansion and actual compression process, we solve the problem. Then what are the applications? The applications of this is found in steam power plants. It may be found in chemical industries, paper mills, or sugar industries. So now this is the assignment question. You can solve this, and for additional link is provided to learn more. So thank you.